Good morning, everyone. It is Rexsi here. Today, we are going to be doing a little review on the mid-season patch that is going to be coming here mid-July, I'm pretty sure, or early July. Now, there's quite a few changes that are actually going to affect Duel in this here mid-season patch. So I thought maybe every once in a while, when there's some significant changes that may change to Duel, or may change or mess with Duel, I may do a video on it during the actual patch notes. So if you do enjoy, make sure to let me know in the comments. Anyways, I am joined by my helper for our little patch notes review today. Okay, so let's get started, shall we? Number one, obviously, I just want to gloss over some skins. Of course, I am so excited for the Avatar collaboration that they're doing with Nickelodeon and Hi-Rez. It's like absolutely amazing, and I'm really excited for it. I loved Avatar. I have rewatched it multiple times. I watched it when I grew up, and then I've rewatched it like twice, I think. I could rewatch it in high school, and then like once after high school, and then I've seen Korra as well. So all these skins, as well as the animations in game, like absolutely phenomenal. Not gonna really bother looking at any of this. Ares is getting redone, his visuals, which is really cool, actually. Anyways, let's get on to actual changes. I don't give a shoot about the actual visual stuff, all that stuff, bug fixes, yada yada yada. So game modes. The mid-season ranked reset is here as with previous splits. Variants will be soft resets. Players blah 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 blah. Players will have a renewed chance to prove themselves. So yeah, the leaderboards have officially reset. So they've been keeping them for some reason. I'm not entirely sure why they've been doing that, but it's also been really glitchy, I've noticed. So they're finally resetting everything, like fully resetting that, as well as the leaderboards for God frames too. They had issues with, for some reason, like I noticed personally, my purple borders that I had on multiple characters, I didn't change spots in the leaderboards. Like I was like, I've been number one Thanatos, for example, all like for the past like 6 months, I think, or however long this season has been. Or however long since they haven't reset the borders. For example, and that one was purple, my Hell was purple, Uller was purple. Now all of a sudden it's diamond. Some of them kept, but it's glitchy. I'm glad they're resetting it, but I don't know why it was kind of glitchy, or the reason that this one particular split they decided to keep it. It's just interesting to me. This is a huge one. Thank God, man. Finally, Hi-Rez has listened, dude. I have complained. I have tweeted. I have threatened to make a freaking petition because I'm pretty sure, like, I've done polls on my streams as well as on Twitter, and I've asked you guys on YouTube what you guys think about the random ass decision. I don't mind that it happens in Joust. The random minion scaling, the health scaling that they added. God, there's so much hair everywhere now. Also, don't mind my hair. Sorry, I did just wake up. But all this scaling that they randomly added without any consultation with anyone's opinions on it, or like, I don't know. Like, I feel like Hi-Rez should at least like use the PTS to actually test and get feedback, you know? Especially for changes like that, for Duel. Like, how is that a good idea? Like, they scale. Like, Duel games can go for a while. And like, if you're not a character who can clear, or even... It's only fire minions, though. Shit! Oh, God. So the normal minions still scale, which... I wish they would take a little... At least the archers would take a little longer to scale. I don't know, man. Like right now, like, one of the most annoying things is fire minions were definitely more annoying than this, but archers being able to take 2 Phoenix shots has to be some of the stupidest shit I've ever seen in my entire life. At 9 minutes, archers take 2 shots. Now it's like, ooh, they have like 1 HP, but it doesn't matter because that's an additional shot. That is 6 shots for 3 archers. 6 Phoenix shots. It doesn't matter like how much health the Phoenix has when you have an ADC that can just boom, 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 just take it after 1 kill. They can take your tower, they can take your Phoenix if they have like 1 wave. Like, at least, like, if they're gonna revert to scaling, I understand fire minions are an absolute bitch. They sucked. They really sucked. But I still feel archers should not be taking 2 shots. one brute minion can take like fucking like 30 shots. Motherfucker's alcohol tolerant. I don't know. It's just stupid. Okay. So there's a lot of changes to Conquest. I'll briefly go over these because, you know, they're not the most important thing in terms of Duel. I really want to go over the items as well as some balance changes, of course. So the cool thing that I do know about this is that every single jungle buff are going to have unique abilities as well as some of the other objectives like the Golden Primal Fury or, you know, all that stuff. So, number one, the, what camp is this? Jungle Shrine changed a bit. Oh, it only requires a single attack to fully claim the gold bounty, okay. Okay. Oh yeah, the new Minion Ai. That shit is so weird. So I don't know if this is going to affect Duel. When minions are fighting other minions, they will target the closest minion rather than the first target they see. This is recalculated after every attack. So the closest thing. So it'd be more treating. Okay. So if that came to Duel as well, like having another wave like close to them could actually like really affect it. This would be a cool mechanic. I'm really curious. Like I definitely have to see it in game before I actually get an opinion on it. Okay, I'm not sure whether or not like this is referring to them targeting anything that's around them, any enemy, or if they're referring to gods. Like, because during the actual, I was watching the patch notes show, and they seemed a little inconsistent with what they were talking about when they were going on about it. I don't know. It was a little hard to follow. But yeah, now there's one Elder Harpy, like at mids. I remember hearing that, which kind of makes sense. So the hitbox in Gold Fury was reduced. Smoother AI, I hope that's true because the Gold Fury flies around. So let's get on to the actual new abilities and stuff like that. So Alpha Harpy. Oh, okay. Alright, I didn't actually read this yet. New ability Screech applies a 15% attack speed debuff to the target, stacks it 2 times, lasts 6 seconds. What the? Okay, but it's worth quite a bit more. Wait, what? Okay. Okay. Okay, it's got additional physical protections. Okay, I think that, like, I honestly don't care. I just want to see it in game. The big thing for me isn't about, like, the damage and stuff like that. I want to see the abilities and stuff before we get into that. So, like, these are the abilities. Like, every buff now has an ability. Like, I'm not going to go into details about XP and stuff like that, like, because I'm not too familiar with it in Conquest. I care about more in Duel. But the abilities are definitely really cool. So every single buff now has an ability. So it's unique and it's like a cooler experience when you're actually in the jungle. Red buff now has an ability called Berserk. When it gets below 45% health, it has increased attack speed, causing players to take more damage over time. I thought this was the slam one, where you had to charge it up. Okay, maybe I was wrong. Okay, yeah, it launches a flurry. I swear, like, they were saying this wrong during the actual patch notes show. Void Sludge. Chimera fires a projectile at its target, applying a debuff to the first target it aggroes, decreases protections by 20%. With this debuff applied, every minion will prioritize you less. You deal damage to the enemy god. That is a cool mechanic. I think this got me mixed up with the actual new AI on the minions. That's pretty cool. I like this. There's like any unique mechanic or new mechanic, I really enjoy. I think that's really cool. Like, just anything you can outplay with and just, you know, do differently, like based off of a single mechanic, is definitely very interesting to me. It lasts 20 seconds. That's a long time. 30-second cooldown. Okay. Spear Thrust. Okay, no, the speed buff is the one that I was thinking of earlier. Winds up for a powerful thrust, damaging all enemies in a line. Deals 3 times its basic attack damage to enemies within range. We don't really care about the scaling and stuff. Blue buff. Up to 4 Spirit Satires, I hope I said that right, will be summoned to help shortly after he enters combat. So does he not have little minions around him now? He's a very low HP, but he can deal a lot of damage if left unchecked. That's cool. Oh, I love that, man. I love that. They're finally adding some changes to the jungle. It'll actually make it interesting, dude. Pyromancer has this ability, which can be CC'd, which is really cool. Shortly after being attacked, Pyromancer enters into a 3-second duration channeled spell. If successful, it casts Infernal Ritual. This spell's an AoE debuff that causes all nearby gods to take 15% increased damage from all sources in the last 10 seconds, which is really cool, especially if you're trying to... I mean, I feel like the Pyro isn't really prioritized as much in Conquest as it should be, at least in ranked play, like in competitive play, in like ESPL and everything. Obviously, it's paid more attention to. But I find in ranked Conquest, like it can be really easy to just sneak a Pyro because it's not warded very heavily, and if you see like one person or their jungler in the other lane, and solo's probably not going to rotate to check it too often. Like I feel like it's not prioritized too much, but. The cool thing about it is that this ability, and like when they're doing it, and like there's a fight for fire, for example, it is really cool to like go into a team fight right after you see them take that debuff, which is awesome. The Pyromancer can be interrupted during it. It takes 3 seconds to channel this. Is it 3 seconds of it not moving? Because if so, you could just time your CC around it. I don't know if it's affected by CCR or anything, but that's really cool. Like any form of certain types of CCs, like named here, actually stop it, which is like really really neat. Sorry, love that. Oracles, a new they have an ability too. I think I might have clicked off at this point for a moment rather. Ability Guarding Ritual. Shortly after being attacked, the oracles enter into a 3-second duration channeled spell. If successful, it casts Guarding Ritual. This buff causes the oracles to take 40% reduced damage from all sources. Oh my god, they're already tanky enough. It lasts 5 seconds. The oracles can be erected. Okay, so it's another I like that you can do that. You can CC them. I saw this. Now spawns molten pools when gods enter this area. You need to each fury now actually has its own ability as well. Channels a spell on a single target that applies a stacking debuff every half second. Debuffs lasts 5 seconds, stacks up to 6 times. This one is 5% slow, 5% increased damage taken for all sources. Damage dealt. Okay, so it would be pretty much always applied to the tank. Most of the time, but that's still pretty cool. And you're definitely gonna have to pay attention to which fury does what. Okay. So yeah, physical penetration shift. They're finally doing what I've been asking for. This is the thing with items, dude. I have been begging for more. Like basically, what they did with magical items is they made it so tons of different items actually have that percentage pen. So there's other options that you can go rather than being forced to just go Obsidian Shard at one point in the build. You can experiment and go things like Soul Reaver or Typhon's Fang, etc., right? I really like that. I like that change. I feel like you can actually experiment with builds, more so in Conquest than Duel, I'd say, but it's still like an option, like rather than, just going the bare bones essentials of having to build a certain way and then going into Obsidian Shard at one point, right? So now all pen is pretty much being nerfed. Most physical penetration, as you can see here. They focus more on higher power on both of these. Eggsy got a huge nerf, which is pretty crazy. It's now 7% per stack instead of 12, which is pretty fucking huge. That is a big drop. Like, that is actually insane. Like, I'm really curious to see how this is going to play out. So now, I don't know what they mean if it added 20% physical penetration. Is on top of it. I'm assuming it's not on top of it, but it's a new passive. Your first ability cast gains 20% physical penetration, and so it's just like obvious shard, right? But if you look onto the other items, there's also, look at this. Okay, so for example, number 1, unfortunately, this item is not going to be very good in Duel, but it is a really unique item. So they added 20% pen to it. You obviously keep the rest of the stats, and they accept the 10% movement speed. But it has 20% pen, which is pretty sick, right? It's like 2/3 of a Titan's Bane, right? Or old Titan's Bane, I don't know. But now this new passive, if you receive a kill or an assist on an enemy god, you gain Atalanta's agility for 10 seconds. This effect increases your attack speed by 20% and decreases the movement penalty from attacking, backpedaling, and strafing by 50%. So it's like half of a Fatalis, basically. You're going to get half of a Fatalis, pretty much, is all it is, which is pretty neat. So when you're auto-attacking, the penalty that you get from, like, strafing or just even moving, like, compared to your normal movement, it's going to be negated by 50%, which is pretty cool. It'll definitely interesting to see, but it's only after you get a kill, though. Like, at first I thought this was like every single time you auto attack, I was like, Jesus. Rage has been increased, which is definitely saw that coming. Silver Branch now has 10% physical penetration, which I really like. Another item with actual percentage physical penetration, which I like to see on physical items at least. They're somewhat working with it. Remove 10 flat pen and increase the physical power gain to another 0.5, which will actually hopefully make it somewhat viable. I'd like to see how good it's going to be because of this. There's so many changes I definitely want to do videos on. So now they reduce the attack speed from 10% to 7%. Second tier shurikens. Now, this is the newest item to come to one of the newer items that are coming into the game that we're going to go over. This one is Shadow Steel Shuriken, which is basically an anti-heal item for, crit-based characters. Because, there's only options with Toxic Blade and Beast Stick, of course. And, I mean, in terms of, like, power items. Sorry, I didn't mean to do that. My headset's it just died. Okay. So it's 20 physical power, 10% attack speed, 20% crit chance, and enemies hit by your critical strikes have 40% reduced healing and regeneration for 8 seconds. Now, I feel like the items are a little expensive. Maybe that's just me. Maybe I'm inexperienced in terms of prices and stuff like that, but I feel like for what it's giving you, it seems kind of iffy, I don't know. We'll see. Like, if we're comparing it to, like, Toxic Blade and stuff like that, I mean, it's instantaneous for this, like, the anti-heal, mind you, which is pretty good. And then, you're not getting that health bonus, though, but it's giving you crit chance. It's a different variable compared to just, like, health and attack speed. And, this one is crit chance. So it's definitely going to be needed to see in play before we actually get, I can form an opinion on this. Because I don't think it's going to be any good in Duel, of course, because, you'd have to have a decent crit chance to actually continuously apply that anti-heal, so that's probably not going to affect Duel very much. Poison Star decreased attack speed and increased the power. Not really too important in Duel. This also... Passive now provides 10% physical penetration in addition to attack speed and movement speed. That's neat. I like that. See? They're throwing percentage physical penetration in there. Which is awesome. So, Soul Eater's actually getting some cool changes. Wait, what? Are they bringing back the old? I'm assuming... Wait, did they get the wrong image? I think they got the wrong image, because there is a new evolved one. I think... Yeah, okay. So they decreased the cost by 200, which is pretty huge. Decreased the power from 40 to 30. Removed the extra 200 mana. Added 10% physical penetration, which is awesome. And now you automatically get the ability lifesteal no matter what, even before the item evolves. But when it evolves, you get an additional 10 power. And it increases your physical ability lifesteal from 15 to 20. So wait. So does it continue to... So while you're gaining stacks for it, do you gain that additional ability lifesteal on its way to being evolved? Or does it have to evolve and then you get the full bonuses? I'm not sure. We'll see. It definitely seems like it'll be a little better, especially like it might actually be a viable item to get like after your defense item in Duel, for example. God, my hair, man. I'm sorry. It might actually be viable to get like as like a somewhat pen item that you would get after your your defense item, after your power spike, defense, boots. Might be viable. It depends on who you're playing. Like, there's definitely some examples that we could come up with. If you have any ideas or suggestions or thoughts on this patch, by the way, make sure to leave me some comments. Like, some cool things you might come up with that we could do in videos with these new items. Of course, like you want to throw this on Bakasur or something like that, or Pele, obviously. Like, if you have ideas for these new items or changes to items, changes to gods, make sure to leave a comment with your thoughts, because, there could be some cool videos out of it. So now, it has 10% physical penetration compared to the original, just base 10, which I feel like it's not going to be as great versus squishies, obviously. I mean, in Duel, it's not like a huge deal, because nobody really builds Heartseeker that often, but with 10% physical penetration, people might build it a little more often in Duel. But they also decrease the cost by like a shitload. Like, I feel like Heartseeker is going to be way better, especially late game. I don't know, man. That's like a lot of pen. Failnot also has... Wow, Failnot has penetration now. Physical pen. 10%. Jesus. Master Moon has been removed from the game. And then there's a new item called the Sludge that you're going to see soon. Serrated Edge. This item is probably my favorite item from the patch. I originally thought this was available on all ranged characters, and I got really excited. But it's not. Okay, so if we're going to look at this item, many melee gods focus on using their kit to get into a fight and basic attack. And basic attack in their way to victory. For those gods, Serrated Edge can be a strong choice. It boasts a variety of stats that can assist in staying in a team fight, including one of the few places you can get 20% penetration. Players will need to think about their ability usage carefully, deciding if they have all the potential options on cooldown is worth an immediate power spike. Now, 1 second here. So it's 2,400 gold, 40 physical power, 10% lifesteal, 10% movement speed, 20% physical penetration. Those are some really unique stats that I really like. But the passive is if all 3 of your non-abilities are on cooldown, you gain 40 basic attack power and 10% lifesteal. Now, if we're thinking about gods that could be useful on, holy crap, Pele would be absolutely insane. Pele, like, without a 3-up, like, the second it runs out, like, so you don't have movement, but while that movement's down, you can get that additional lifesteal as well as some basic attack power, so you can kite. It might be a little... It might not... Obviously, the passive will not last as long with someone like Pele, because the 3 just keeps coming up. But someone like Kali, like... I'm trying to think who else. Oh, my God. Arachne, obviously. Smite gods. Okay. Can I filter it? Assassins. Oh, Wheelix, this would be probably pretty good on. Fenrir is gonna bend. Oh my God, that was it. It was Fenrir that I was thinking of. That is gonna be absolutely insane. Mercury's gonna be okay with it as well. But Fenrir, who uses his cooldowns really effectively, and then like he pops his 2, dude. Oh my good lord. Like Fenrir is gonna go off. Mainly just auto attack based characters, which I was really hoping Ullr would work really good with it, but I like for some reason I was thinking because he's axe dance, he's melee, and I was like shit. So yeah, unfortunately some gods like Thanatos, it wouldn't be too good. Like some of my mains, it wouldn't be the greatest on, but other gods like that are a little more auto attack focused, like Pele, Set, would be really good on. Fenrir, Arachne. It's definitely a really unique item, and I'm glad to see some new shit come into the game, because I feel like Smite lacks a bit in terms of items. Now, Glad Shield is gone. So is Berserker Shield. You don't have to see that right after boots anymore. And Duel, woo! Love it. Love to see it. Love to see it. No more Bolognas. King Arthur's just cheesing that. Okay, so now it's a tier 3 that builds up from Tower Shield. Get to that new item here in a moment. 2,500 gold, 25 physical power, 200 health, 40 physical protections, and 10% CDR. But there's basically the passive is the big thing. Any god who's under 50% health takes bonus damage for your abilities equal to 15 plus 2 per level bonus physical damage. Triggers only once per enemy per ability. So basically each ability is gonna take bonus damage when they're low, so you don't gain any health now from the passive, which is basically a completely new passive. I'm curious to see how that's going to work out. What the heck is Berserker Shield now? Yada yada yada. The stats. It's a lot more protections though, which actually is pretty neat to see. This one gives attack speed and some penetration, which is also cool. If you drop below 40%, you become Berserk, which is really cool. Berserk providing a 20% power and 20% attack speed. Oh, just 20% power and 20% additional attack speed. Last 5 seconds refreshes on if healed and then redamaged. Really? Wait a minute. So you could just have it indefinitely if you were Bologna and you were like auto attacking another target and you're in your whip stance, right? So basically that just you'll gain that additional 20 physical power and 20% attack. That's pretty cool. There's definitely some gods that'll benefit off of that in the solo lane. That's cool. So Master Moon has been changed basically into the Sludge, I've been told. Sludge is definitely a sick-ass name for an item, I will admit. 2300 gold, 40 physical power, 300 health, 150 mana. People were saying that this would be really cool in Thanatos, and it's kind of like Blackthorn. For each enemy within 55 units, you gain 10 magical and physical protection, stacking up to 3 times. Whoever the fuck said that is full of shit, and if you are building Blackthorn on Thanatos, you are incorrect, and you need to stop unless you're solo. And you're like, fine, okay, or something. You know what? You do what you want, alright? But in Duel, you do not. No. Fuck, stop. Stop building Blackthorn on Thanatos. You hurt my soul. You'll hear my echoing screams in the background if you do that. And stop building Warrior's Blessing on him. I ran into with Thanatos that just kept spamming Warrior's Blessing on Thanatos. It's like, stop. He's an early game character. You know, I'm not getting into it. Okay, so, Assassin's Blessing. Increased the health from 50 to 100. And now provides 7 physical and magical power from the get-go. But it reduces damage done and increases the healing, which is pretty cool considering the boss are probably going to be a little harder to kill, I imagine. Increased base power from 65 to 85. Decreased base power, yada yada yada. Increasing. Let's increase something, decrease another thing. Decrease the price of thaw, that's actually pretty neat. Increased magical power from 70 to 85, and they doubled the minion health. That's definitely going to be interesting. I still don't think it's going to be too useful in Duel, since it doesn't actually affect... I mean, Jesus Christ, that item, when you get late game, that stupid fire minion thing. Oh my god. Anyways. Decreased time it takes for heal, 50%. La 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 la. Items that aren't going to be good in Duel. So this is another huge change. They removed the passive for... Hide enemy in line, and now every 15 seconds, this item generates a single block stack for the owner. This makes fucking Nemean absolute dog shit. Crit may actually become somewhat useful in Duel, or force people to buy Spectral, which is absolutely insane, and it's going to completely shift the meta. I'm going to just say that now. I am pretty sure... At least, like, one crit item. One crit item. Like, think about this. Instead of, like, just... So, if you build Nemean right now, right? If you go ahead and build into a Nemean against, like, a Hunter, for example, the chances are they could go crit, or you could build, like, as they're going crit, and you build Nemean, for example, right? Now, that's not a big deal, because even if they don't go crit, you're still going to be reflecting that damage, right? You're still going to be doing damage to them, which is, like, you know, it's pretty essential if you're against a Hunter. 15% is still a lot of damage to be reflecting constantly, and it helps, right? But now, if you think about it, you could see someone building into crit, right? They could build a really cheap, or one of the cheapest crit items, and then boom, you could go Spectral, but the rest of their build could go into, you know, whatever they want. They no more crit. They have one crit item, and that's it. All they need is one crit item to force you into Spectral, and all you're gonna get from Spectral is that reduced crit damage as well as like the other minor stats, right? Compared to like a breastplate where you're gonna get all that additional mana, you're gonna get all that cooldown. Breastplate of you're gonna get so much more. Like I pretty much build Breastplate of Valor on almost everyone. Like I find it a lot more worth, unless in particular I'm up against, you know, like a non-lifesteal hunter, for example, or you know someone that's going crit. Like obviously I'll go to Mean or something, and like Thorns. But with this, it's like, I mean, it's gonna like you really, you know, force people to mess around with their builds a little more and kind of screw over people, like, because they'll build one crit item and you go Spectral, then the rest of your build's normal. So, and they just have a Spectral that they're chilling with to deal with those crits, because otherwise they're just gonna get crit to death, you know? Definitely a really weird change and random. I'm not complaining though, it's definitely cool to see some change. Ring of this word, because I'm not gonna try and say it. 25. What the? Okay, I feel like they're just like half the time. Like there's some of the time they're like not even spelling attack. They're really inconsistent. Like, cause look at this. This says 2400G, right? And then like I saw other stuff like attack, right? Oh god, now I can't even find the example. But yeah, right here they don't even say the freaking G, dude. Like, come on, Hi-Res. Fuck. What is 2500 what? Magical power? 10? Okay, 80 power. There it is! The attack speed! They wrote attack, I'm pretty sure, everything else normally. Why is power capitalized and lifesteal isn't? Okay, anyways. So now it has base 20% lifesteal automatically. Actually, it might have already had that. I don't know. No one builds it. Each successful basic attack applies a hex to enemies and empowers you. Enemies receive 5% decreased power per stack, and you receive 5% increased power. Okay. And increased healing gain. What? Increased healing gain? Like, how much, though? Both effects stack up to 3 times in the last 5 seconds. That's pretty cool. I like that. I like that change. Divine Ruin, now decrease flat pen, increase magical power. Okay, decrease flat pen, I feel that. So this got a new passive, basically, and a fuckload of power, which is pretty sick. Any god you damage becomes marked and debuffed to take 7.5% increased damage from all sources for 10 seconds. This effect can only one god at a time and occur every 10 seconds, which is pretty neat. I think it'll be a little more useful in Conquest, but it's still cool to see. Hopefully it's somewhat useful. Worried Sabai isn't seeing any use, so they're like, fuck it, let's buff it, which is nice. I like that. 100 mana is going to add some additional power, especially building Transcendence. So now we get into Relic Changes. You can now finally teleport to Phoenix. It's going to be super useful in Duel, totally. So they basically are somewhat like doing things to deal with shields, which is really cool. So Cursed Ankh now reduces active shields by 50%, and Sunder just destroys shields completely, which is really, really, really cool to see. Because if you, like, imagine you, like, Geb shield someone, and then, like, you could be like, boom, alright, I got Sunder. Like, Sunder could actually see some use, which is really freaking awesome. Or even, like, an Ankh, like, they have a super healing team, like, and they have a Geb, or they have an Odin, or they have a Hera, or just tons of shells. Like, you can build actives accordingly based on what they start with, like, if they have more shells and stuff. Which is really cool to see. Rat's getting completely reworked. He's changing back to like the old Acorn options, which I really like to see. I miss that. I feel like Rat got kind of boring. Not a huge fan of that god. So basically, you have your lively Acorn from the tier 1. That's, you know, your normal stuff. But when he attacks the damage, I don't remember honestly most of his abilities and stats in terms of player passives. So this will be kind of new to me. Evergreen Acorn, which is one of the 3. Oh, wait. Okay, so there's 2 different trees that you can go down. Nettle Acorn and the Lively. So off the Lively, you can go the Evergreen Acorn. I'm not really going to bother going over all the stuff. This is like a health one. Health. They all get 20% movement speed, I'm assuming. Yeah, okay. And this is a health one. When toss damages a god with an ability, heals for 7% of his maximum health and mana. Wait, there's no way that's off every ability, is it? That's quite a bit of health. Jesus. That's quite a bit of health. It's like almost a quarter heal every time he bursts someone. That's interesting. When Ratatosker damages a god with an ability, he heals for 3% of his maximum health. Flurry has an additional charge and protections that he shreds from enemy gods. So this one, it's also a protection one, but instead of like just focusing on health, it also steals the protections that he shreds. Okay. And then we got Bristlebush Acorn, which is a critical strike one. A little more power than the other ones, because this is the offensive tree, I'm assuming. Dart now deals 40% increased damage and can crit. When Dart damages an enemy, Ratatosker gains 10% physical lifesteal and 10% basic attack damage for 6 seconds. Now, that Serrated Edge actually seems kind of pog on him now. Jesus. Thistlethorn Acorn. 45 physical power with 20% movement speed. No other stat. Acorn Blast and shoots 5 acorns. Enemies hit by Acorn Blast and are marked to take 5% increased damage from Ratatosker's abilities, stacking up to 3 times for 5 seconds. That's what I will be building. I will be building this one. That is 100% decided. This one's going to be good in Duel. Definitely going to be useful. Acorn Blast, increased damage. Increased scaling. Wow, okay. Enemies have multiple acorns. Take 25% less damage on Acorn. Minimum 25%. You hit by 3 acorns to be stunned rather than all. Okay, yeah, that's what I assumed, because like you have 5, you only need 3 to hit. I wonder if it's like a wider range, it'll just be an easier ability to hit altogether. The stat changes to some gods I'm not really going to bother going over, because, like, for example, this isn't, like, increasing the slow or the cooldown. Oh my god, that is like a 2-second cooldown increase or decrease though. That is actually pretty sick. But that's not going to make him any good in Duel, obviously. Okay, an additional base of 15 protections from the Mez, which is pretty useful. Oh my god, and the Mez lasts way longer now. What the heck? I haven't read the god changes yet, by the way, so this is news to me. Wow. So the base now starts at 1.5 or 1.1, which is actually pretty insane. Wow. That's interesting. Apollo's definitely going to see some more use in Duel. Increases the scaling of his ult, which is also useful. Already increase heal range. Oh, Jesus. Every time I'm like, oh, this isn't going to change Duel at all, and then I read the change, I'm like, Jesus. I don't even want to bother reading Baba Yaga. She is never gonna... I have never seen a Baba Yaga in Duel, dude. Actually, yes, I have, but not for more than 5 minutes. Okay. Oh my god, I almost had a heart attack, dude. I looked over at OBS and I thought it said start recording. Oh, I would have cried, dude. Okay, increased physical power scaling from self-heal from 70 to 85%. What? My head's such a... Oh, okay, it's because I have no sound going on. You probably could have heard that. Whatever, I don't need sound. Increased physical power scaling from self-heal for 70 protections from... Oh my god, it scales loaded to 42? Oh, I already fucking hate Bakasura, dude. No. Increased damage, 80 to 90. Increased scaling 5% to 8%. Okay. Kraken, Cerberus. Increases damage. Base damage by 20. Scaling 70 to 80. Okay, just some minor changes. And you take an additional 50% from the explosion. Okay. Okay, so his clear will actually be a little better, because Cupid's clear is definitely not one of his strong shoots. I heard Medusa's getting pretty buffed. Viper Shot now has 4 charges at all ranks, and increased the scaling by 2.5%. That's actually pretty sick. Not that I play Medusa very much. Increased the scaling on his 2 at 10%, and increased the range 45. Medusa's 2 has always felt a little short. Increased root duration from 0.5 to 1 second? That is so long! That is bullshit! That's gonna be so long, dude! Oh my god! Medusa's already good. Oh, fuck, she's gonna be good in Duel. Oh, god damn it. I don't like playing against Medusa, dude. I hate her fucking strafe passive, dude. It's so AIDS. Increased training speed. Okay, I don't know what they plan on doing with Milan. Increased training speed from 300 to 700 to 1500 down. Done to. Harris, you know, you could just throw this shit in Word, right? You could just, like, Word. Microsoft Word. You guys can afford it. You just fucking, you plop it in there. It'll, or you know what? I think Google Translate even fucking does that for you if you want to, you know. Damage done. Oh my god, wait, no, I'm an idiot. I'm sorry, Hi-Res, I didn't mean that. I read that incorrectly. I feel like the grammar's a little off, though. Maybe I'm just stupid. 1,500 damage done. 200, 500, 1,200 damage done. Oh my god, I thought, like, okay, well, everything's been saying down to, or up to, or nerfed, or buffed. Okay, I'm sorry. This is the first thing that said damage done to. It looks like it just says damage down to. That come on, that's reasonable, right? And the spelling, you know what? Whatever. Okay. That was my bad. Okay. So yeah, now you don't have to do as much damage, and you build it faster, which is definitely useful. And increase the protections from the grapple by a whopping 5. Increased, you know, no, she's still gonna be trash in Duel. Animation travel time for sped up by 25%. Finally, all enemies now see these base skin as weave models, even if has skin equipped. Cool. This is the big change that I saw. Decrease the attack speed debuff from 30%, so that it scales from 18 to 30. Now this ability now steals attacks from the enemy gods, decreasing attack speed and buffing needs by the same amount, which is really cool. She's basically stealing attack speed from people. But it has to be from an enemy god, and it adjusts to 4. Oh, it's changed to 4 seconds at all ranks rather than the debuff being just for 2 to 6 seconds. Hitting multiple gods obviously only applies 1 stack. Nem's getting buffed again, increasing the base damage of the 2 by an additional 10. Oleron getting a little bit of a buff. I don't want to see that. No, no, not set. No, no, high res. Increased duration from 5 seconds to 6 seconds. Oh lord. Skewer. Increased damage. Increased scaling. Spawns in a deal 60% to 80% of skewer's damage. Oh lord. I didn't want to see that. Undefeated body, increased percentage HP when his passive triggers from 40 to 50%. Okay, that's actually pretty neat. I like that. Finally. Increase the duration of passive sub buff if he heals about 50% from 10 seconds to 12 seconds. Okay. Increase Tiger stun duration from 1 second to 1.4 at all ranks. Okay. Alright, well, so much for maxing the 3. Increased damage. Dude, Solana is going to be S plus here in Duel. I'm calling it now. Increased damage from 10 to 30 protect to 14 to 38. Damage increased from 60 to 100 to 60 to 120. Cool, cool, cool. Wrath of Terra, that's what that ability's called. So Thoughts also getting a buff. This damage increase will affect all enemies, not just gods. Increased scaling from 20 to 25%. Additional fall-off damage, or added fall-off damage past 55 range. Reduced damage by 25%. Oh, okay, so if it's past a certain range, it does less damage. Thank fuck. Okay, I like that. And Ymir got a buff, increased Frostbite's passive duration, and increases the damage reduction. 10% to 15%. Okay, lots of cool changes. Some highlights are definitely going to be Medusa, Serrated Edge, the penetration changes, the fire buff, or fire minions finally got nerfed. We spent a bit of time here. I hope you enjoyed yourself. I hope you enjoyed your morning. If you're watching this in the morning, doing his coffee or something, sit down with me and go over some changes to Smite and how they're going to affect Duel. If you guys did enjoy this video, I would really appreciate if you consider leaving the video a like or subscribing if you're new. I do 2 videos a day every single day. I stream all the time. If you do want to discuss changes, leave them in the comments below. I'll be reading them. I'm curious to see. Make sure to upvote things that you agree with so that I can see them more easily. See what you guys all agree with. In terms of changes, things you guys want to see, all that lovely stuff. Anyways, I will see you in the next video, guys. I hope you guys all have an amazing Thursday. I'm doing a drunk stream tonight, by the way, with Punk Duck and Double J and all them. We're doing some Star Wars stuff. Anyways, I will see you next video, guys. Hope you have a fantastic day. Bye-bye.